How's it going? There you go. Welcome to the stream. Hey, Cenobite. ID for good. Wait, is it? Nice, okay. Thank you. Chronix is the first 2D man. Holy dude. Overslept. I was working on Maxwell guides for like 8 hours. So. Alright. Hi guys. Hi Bassett. Overworked. Overslept, overworked. What is it? It's fine. You don't need sleep for a week now? I didn't say I slept 8 hours, I said I've worked on the guides for 8 hours. And now we continue working on it just with an audience, I guess. Well, I didn't do that kind of work. Well, partially I did a bit of that. Death Trap Rogue, for example. After working on that. This one is basically written now. That's cool. In fact, we actually do have it from Season 3, I think, or something. It's an archive. Season 4, actually. We archived it in Season 5, and then brought it back in Season 6, turns out. Interesting, huh? Well, it's a new and improved Death Trap Rogue, so that's cool. Is camera higher than usual? It probably is, actually, yes. I have a standing desk, and sometimes I move up and down, so... Hello, Ma Beatrice Silva. I'm good, and you? Thanks, Yakun, for the prime. Appreciate that. Spiritborn gonna be good or what? Spiritborn ranges from very good to game breaking, roughly. So I'd say yes. I mean, there are 4 separate ways to become permanently immune to damage, which is kind of cool. And other funny stuff like that on the class. Any news of Spiritborn PTR? There's no PTR. It will certainly go well. Okay, so yesterday I think I was working on this Razor Wings build that... Well, is that actually done? Skill tree looks fine. Paragon is not though. So that's what I was doing. I kind of find myself gravitating towards similar setups here in terms of defense most of the time, which is just like late game, go Armored Hide with lots of cooldown, or like get like some other like source of insane amounts of resolve, plus a lot of maximum resolve. And I think this is probably just kind of like how Mercenary builds will work, and then you have like a lot of block here, just go 100% block. Actually, I want to cook a Thorns build today. I wonder how a Gorilla Thorns build would look like. And a payback build. I have some ideas for that as well. So maybe before they do Paragon shenanigans, you can try some stuff there. How would it make a... Oh, interesting. It says cannot save anti-profile. Even though we don't really have an anti-profile. Thorns. I'm not sure what exactly this will be with the Thorns. But we'll figure it out. Why is there no shape-shifting? Have you heard of Druid? So there's one temper that is really important for this stuff, which is the primary Gorilla Spirit Hall Potency temper that we're going for. What this means is that we're gonna get more Thorns per attack And more barrier per attack. So we want that. And now I guess comes the interesting part. We want to combine this with loyalty, which gives us another 100% more potency if we do double gorilla. And while your spirit horde choices match, the bonuses are 100% bonus on skills with a base build cost 6 with less and has 6 with reduced cooldowns. Okay. So do something like that. Now Thorns builds won't need any kind of crit here, which is good. But what we will need is not unyielding hits actually. Because this is armor to attacks. But what you want is once the dealt has a no, it's a 68%. I'm probably gonna put this on a two-handed. Bruiser's aspect. It's actually a defensive power on the neck. So if that number is accurate, we get 56 thorns per 1% missing life. So times 100, you get 5,600 thorns at low life. The razor plate itself is actually not bad. This is like 3.5k. And 10% chance to deal 200% increased damage. And I think if we do razor plate, we don't do bruiser. Because I think the only realistic way to stay at low life would be with the Jakim's shell. Spending vigor heals you. Every second active cooldown drain you. So this has a bunch of DR. I guess this number is like buggy or something. But as life, endurance is the vigor generation, right? It doesn't help us very much. Percent damage is almost nothing. What else is there for Thorns? Besides Needle Flare? Any dodge or block an attack? So you definitely want to include this one. Definitely want to include this one. We kind of want to include this one as well. This, no. And then maybe one of the rings. So this one has Thorns, armor. Damage reduction on poisoned, patient guard. Generate vigor when you deal Thorns damage. So this is kinda nice, you probably want this. What about another ring? Okay, so let's see, this is 1, 2, 3, 4 offensive powers. So I guess this is a Needle Flare. 90% chance that you damage all enemies around you. And I wonder, should we put it on a two-handed or not? Maybe not. And I wonder if we should go for this toxic thing. Maybe dodge, block, and attack. So you got 160 Thorns attack. So realistically, we don't want to rely on this, but it's kind of nice to have. Especially because this, you can just walk into a pack and then compound and explode. And I think we don't care that much about this here. I'm not sure if we care much about this one either. So this has one more power. But frankly, I'm not sure if I should even go for this ring. We probably don't need the Vigor very much. And the Toxic Skin passive effect might not be really relevant if you can just put it on the bar. So I think we go for this stuff. Increase your Thorns by 20 damage. Or Rock Spitter, increase your Thorns by 20% damage for 5 seconds. So this is actually 20% of your weapon damage, Thorns. Which is kind of interesting. And that actually reminds me, there's also this here, right? So how's that? And then there's this, yeah. What is that for Rock Splitter? Extra hit. Okay. Now it might be not a bad idea to go for Rock Splitter with Thorns. For like single target Thorns. Because I remember when I tested this. So the Rock Splitter with Thorns, this effect could be buffed by buffs to basic attack skills. Like Follow Through should work. Probably like anything that says like Gorilla skills works. Or like, you know, with tags, it might be even like other skill tags. And like Moonrise, Adaptability, this kind of stuff also seems to work. And in fact, even stuff like undealing hits might work, but that is kind of a question mark. If this works, then this would be kind of wild, actually. Do you do 60% attack speed after basic attack? 60%, which one do I mean? Hey, one shot get. Yeah, I will main Spiritborn for at least the launch. And I'm gonna write a lot of the Maxwell guides as well for now. Compared to Season 5, is it faster or slower to get to 60 than is it now? Leveling to 60 will be faster than leveling to 100. But it will be slower than life game reaching, like, you know, World Tier 4 or so. Yeah, the thing is, we don't really know exactly the mechanics of some of this stuff, but as far as I know, maybe that might be the best way to just like go Rock Splitter, stack like all of the damage multipliers for your basic attacks. Maybe even use the basic attack stuff. Which one is that? Step on Somtech. Basically, increased damage, always use a third attack, and every third cast unleashes triple strikes. That might legitimately be the best thing to do here. The third attack disarms enemy Thorns to enemies. And it just always gets the third attack. And every third cast unleashes triple strikes. Then this would be kind of crazy actually, especially all these follow through ranks and stuff like that. So this would be like this. So this could literally be the entire build actually. Just put this on your bar. Easy. It's just kind of funny. I'm not sure if there's any reason to add ranks. I don't think so. I think I'll make like 2 separate versions of Thorns depending on how it works. So let's start with kind of like a more universal Thorns variant. Then we can do the basic attack stuff later. I think I this for every stack of Resolve. We have this. We have this. We have this. We have this. So I definitely want Toxic Skin. Because the Thorns damage they did to poison enemies. Enemies that attack you are poisoned for 3 seconds. Your toxins over by poisoning a trail, make it unhindered for 5 seconds. So you need some more consistent Thorns, I think, if you want to do this. And also have to calculate how good is Bastion, how many Bastion rings can we get. Because I think, again, this is like weapon damage-based Thorns. So maybe instead of going stuff like Razor Blade and trying to stack Thorns, we could maybe try to get Thorns from just like a big weapon and then undealing hits and stuff like that. So that's an option. There's so many crazy aspects, but then you see that you just can't really fit them on this class. So like 1 point there, I suppose. So now if this stuff will help us. I'm not sure if we want to go for like the alt. Although we do have the 6% cooldown there. And not really many points to spend anywhere. Plus defensive focus skill. You probably want to do rushing claw. Maybe even soar and maybe counter attack even. Since you have the dodge and block thing. It's 160 Thorns attack against the attacker. Which funny enough is actually less than our active Thorns. So maybe I don't care that much about it. On the other hand, we should have like very high block chance, right? So we kind of need this thing. And then what do we do here? Either we just like spam core skills to get cooldown reduction. But to what end? Nah, I think we just do this, yeah. Just cast something of another spirit every 5 seconds, and we have like big damage reduction. Sometimes get attack speed, sometimes we get lifesteal. I have 18 points left. So you might want to do this. That's an interesting skill bar. Ah, this actually increases in duration, which may not be terrible. And if we go Razor Blade, we actually have to somehow fix our res. Okay, toxic skin passive effect. We can maybe do this, and we can do this. Okay, not the Spiritborn build in the default planner. You have to press the PTR version there. The Spiritborn is on the PTR version right now. Which I guess is technically true, since we data mine it from PTR. I don't feel very comfortable having toxic skin passive effects. I mean, okay, they can hit me and then I'll poison for 5 seconds. Oh, actually this is 5 instead of 3. And then we have the active. So maybe it's fine. And I guess attack means any form of attack, not just a hit. This is the first bit that doesn't go Scorn of the Earth. That's incredible. Close enemies or those who deal indirect damage to are slowed. It's kind of interesting. So this means like dot, I guess. Does Colossus jumps have anything with Thorns? No, right? This is like the dodge thing, and this is the boss damage thing. So there's nothing with Thorns there. Doesn't help us. Soulcast Vortex and landing location. I feel like I should probably play this as a low life build. I think this build is just gonna be better. If I don't do Razor Plate, I just play low life. And like this, we'll also get our Toxic Skin. Like, I think there's actually a Thorns build that does not run Razor Plate. And I guess another thing could be that we run Dark Dance and go low life like that. Well, kind of low life. Use the Bruiser aspect. Again, 56 Thorns per 1% missing life. So if you miss 10% life, that's 500. If you miss 20, that's 1000. So you need to miss around something like 70% life to make up for the Razor Plate. And then we still lose the Jackinth effect with the cooldown stuff, which is kind of nice because you get like Protector all the time. This should actually be fairly tanky, this build. And you just play around these barriers. I think we don't do Razor Plate. There's like an overall 20% DPS increase. Okay. And then you could even do something like Payback if you wanted. Active cooldowns drain 10% of your maximum life to reduce the durations by 3 seconds. Spending Vigor heals you for 10% of your maximum life. Generate 7 Vigor each time you deal Thorns damage. So on a single target we should... Like if you left click a Frog Splitter, we will just get like 18. Then if you do like a Crushing Hand here and there... Yeah, that should work, I think. But I'm not sure if I should actually go for this ring. I think this ring might just be not useful. I can just like left click for Rock Splitter. I don't really need Crushing Hand. Crushing Hand grants a barrier equal to 10% of the damage it deals for 2 seconds. That's a very short barrier, and most likely won't even work with the Thorns that it does. We have a knockdown there that we actually don't want. So I'm not sure if I really want to go for Crushing Hand at all, to be honest. But then what else? There's more poison, I guess. Which is also a bit weird though. Like I would much rather just go for like Withering Fist or something. It's tough. Spiritborn was Dancing Knife Rogue. Spiritborn will be on top. Spiritborn will have much crazier builds, I think, than Dancing Knife Rogue. And Dancing Knife Rogue is also, you know, most likely getting fixed with the spamming. Touch of Death with the Swarms. Yeah, we can do that if you want. I mean, it becomes a core skill. So like this you could also get very easy poison uptime, that's fair. I was considering this earlier. Instead of doing this Crushing Hand shenanigans, I don't think we have to do this actually. And then we probably wouldn't even need Toxic Skin on our bar, and then we still have like another slot to put. We could do Counter Attack, for example, which makes us even tankier. Because you just get like, you know, 100% dodge, you just walk into a pack before you have all your barriers up. Even when you're like basically low life, right? You can just walk up to a pack. The good thing is I think that stuff like this is instant cast. They can probably just do this while doing anything else. So you can just get like a double barrier proc from Gorilla, for example. So I think Touch of Death is not a bad idea with the core thing. Because it lasts a long time. It's 9 seconds. And then when the host dies, the swarm hatches and seeks enemies for 9 seconds. I'm not 100% sure if they also do poisoning though. Or it's just like instant damage. So here it bursts every second. So you probably have to do this actually. This does poisoning damage. Like baseline, it seems to just do hit damage. Which is a bit of a problem. Touch of Death. Yeah. So maybe not then. I thought that poisoning would be built in here, but I think this is not good enough then. So the other option would be Scourge. And the power that makes them run with me, but then they're all feared and don't hit me, which is kind of shitty on the poison on the Thorns build. So I don't like that very much. Or we can just do Stinger instead of Crushing Hand. That is, at least you can walk up to a guy, and even if my Toxic Skin is on cooldown, I can just Stinger them, boom. If you want. And we can also like refresh our poisons on anything around us if you want. So maybe this. Just kind of weird, but maybe. The Sapping Paragon bot, which one is that again? Does it mean same primary spirit? Yeah, this means you need to cast 3 times the same skill basically. Or like, in our case, you can do like Rock Splitter, Armored Hide, Rock Splitter again, or something like that. Or 3 times Rushing Claw. Or like Stinger, Armored Hide, what was it? Sorry, Stinger, Toxic Skin, Stinger. There's a way to have Touch of Death for core, more ranks to core, and then the new pole arm. I mean, Touch of Death is mostly a dot skill. It does almost no hit damage, right? Look at this, 5% weapon damage hit and 300 poisoning. Like, there's no way to use this with like crits or something. Unless you then go for something like Noxious Resonance. But I strongly doubt that this can overpower. It can crit. I'm not sure about overpower, but I don't think so. But I'm also not sure, like, you know, what kind of like modifiers are carried into Noxious Resonance procs. There's like double dipping going on and stuff like that. So there needs to be more testing on that. Yeah, there's still a lot of unknowns here. What Mimics will go with this build? So far, none actually. So it's kind of funny, huh? I feel like the jump from Legendary to Ancestor is too sharp. Maybe there's a place to sacred items. Does allow for Masterworking 8 and 2 temper slots. Yeah, I think they could tweak that a little bit. I mean, Masterworking 8, I'm not sure if that is really gonna be a reality. I mean, sacred items are not coming back, so that's for sure. But yeah, maybe there is a bit of too much of a jump between normal and ancestral items. Maybe they could allow a second temper after, you know, let's say item power 700 or something like that. Main set is Dex. So in that case, we go for like Resolve Tempers again. I wonder if there's like some other stuff with Thorns. What do we got here? Armored Hide, Active Thorns, Burners. And then just like flat 70 Thorns, okay. When you wait for an enemy without hide to deal 100% of your Thorns to them. And heal for 5% of your maximum life. Now we actually want to like really high attack speed for this build. Because for every cooldown that we have running, we lose 10% of our life. per second. And we gain 10% of our life for each attack when we spend Vigor. Which we won't do all the time, but I guess most of the time we will be able to like press our button. They could even do like a Starless Skies, which is kind of interesting to think about on this build. And we kind of should, because it gives us all res as well. I think there's actually a Starless Skies angle, even though we don't care about the crit or the core skills. Or the lucky hit, really. Yeah. It sounds scuffed. It's very difficult to build this setup, I think. I want to see what's there for phone stuff here. We need dodge or block, you can attack speed and damage, so you can do infighter. And then we do convergence. Is there a Thorns thing specifically? Yeah, when you use a cooldown you gain 20% Thorns for 5 seconds. That seems pretty weak actually. But it's pretty unconditional at least. There's cooldown live. Oh, there's percent Thorns. Okay, so we need this board actually. This is actually a must-have. And again here. Alright, yeah, this is pretty nutty actually. So we do this. 1, 2, 3, 4. And then we have this shield as well, since we're playing Gorilla. So I guess those 5. Look. We need to get all the rest we can. This might be something like a headhunter angle here. Okay, this is like a strength or an int glyph. Armor, damage. Okay, what can we do here? Do you increase Thorns damage equal to 100% of your dodge bonus? Oh shit. That seems balanced actually. So I guess in that case we definitely won't counter attack on our bar. And since we gain Toxic Skin's passive effect, maybe just do that instead. We have 4 points left. 1, 2. Oh, and that's kind of funny. Wait a minute. I don't want to choose either of those 2 upgrades. I mean, it is kind of nice to reflect the crowd control so I don't get CC. On the other hand, we are perma unstoppable, so we don't need that. We don't need a crit. So there's actually no reason to put any point there. Then we do this. It will have a pretty long cooldown though. But it's kind of like a nice offensive cooldown. And this is a strength glyph. Bonus to magic notes. Yeah, I don't really trust that, but okay. So here, this thing has damage over time, dude. Spiny skin, okay. This has a lot of dex. You can do turf. Can we do anything with the mystic circles? Not really, right? This is like a bunch of barriers. Increase your armor by 38% while active. It's gonna be very funny to use this actually with the mystic circle potency stuff. I need to try like an armor stacking build. I still haven't really found out for which build exactly. We'll need the Thorns affix on item for Thorns to work. Well, I mean, you just need some thorns some way, yeah. So you can get this. Actually, you can't get it from gems anymore. But for example, this ring has thorns. You can get thorns from, like, here's flat thorns you can get from the passive. Here's some thorns. There's also some thorns built in Rock Splitter. In our case, we get a lot of thorns from the Bruiser's aspect. So I put this on a neck, which funny enough is a defensive power. But in our case, it's like our main offensive power actually, as well, actually. So we are low life. And for being at 1% life, you get 5,600 base thorns. That's quite a lot. So this thing constantly drains our life to low. We just protect ourselves with barriers. We get a bunch of resolve, get a bunch of block, dodge, and so on. And there you go. So maybe put like Headhunter Glyph here. So off decks here. We also want to branch out into like all of the corners here. There's percent thorns. And here. Here. And here. This is not relevant. Then we have this here. There's also lots of strength and int. So I need one more. Dealing thorns damage to enemy increases all damage it takes. This plus rare nodes. And then you have to stack up the 15% on each enemy. Oh my god, okay. Is there something better? It seems like a really weak rune. I would much rather go for something like this here, honestly. Even though it doesn't have a secondary effect that helps us at all. Or turf. You can just do turf. Since you're basically in close range all the time anyway, right, to have Thorns built. Maybe it's like a turf angle. Let me do this. He has also percent Thorns actually, I just realized. Right, I need to check if there's more of these. Nope. Okay. So remove all this. It's those two boards here. So Spiny Skin and Viscous Shield. So hard to go into Season 6. You want to play Spiritborn, but you have no idea how to play it, what build to go with. Yep. It's gonna be fun, man. And the good thing is that a lot of stuff on Spiritborn is looking very powerful. So you can barely go wrong, I'd say. Because there's so many crazy combos and stuff that they made. I wouldn't be worried. Oh, there's no glyph here. Still need another glyph. Hubris, Headhunter, Turf, Colossal. I wonder if this gorilla damage actually applies to the Thorns from the Spirit Hall. I don't think so. So you probably don't even want to go like all in like gorilla damage there. Need like generic multipliers. I mean, if that board is actually real, then Outmatch Glyph would be nuts, because it's also a poisonous and gives us insane life there. But I don't think it is real. So we can still do Revenge if we have to. This is... Wait. This glyph has no stats for it. It has no requirement. What? Okay, something's a bit fucked here. And this one is Wildfire Glyph that needs cold, that gives you cold damage, which is also kind of funny. Hey, Patton. How are you doing? And hey, dear. Nice to see you as well. You could do exploit if you really want to. But I don't really want to. And we're not gonna be healthy, so we can't do the Imbiber actually, I just realized. So I guess this might be the Thorns glyph. I mean, using the Thorns glyph on a Thorns build kind of makes sense, but I don't really like it. It has a low legendary bonus. It has a shitty primary bonus. And a shitty secondary bonus. Like, I really don't like it. But I think I have to. The other option is this one. Oh shit, this thing has life on hit. Ah, that's fine, okay. I just realized there's like life on hit built in. On this class. I wonder how we're gonna solve our resistances. I have no idea. But I'll try. This is non-physical damage. Yikes. Okay. Maybe I'm gonna go this one and ignore this side here. Something like that, maybe. This is a headhunter glyph, so you want everything. Actually, we don't want strength that much, do we? If we have enough armor to this, but maybe just take everything. Damage short time is not something we want. So as percent thorns, can we see this here? Do we have any thorns? What if I change this? We have flat 1000 life. Here's thorns, 3600. Does it calculate it? It doesn't. Can I just get advantage of Mystic Circus and Ritual Glyph? Yeah, we probably can. But then we have to not go Loyalty's Mantle. And we have to use... I mean, there's other ways to get Ferocity, but I kind of want to go Jaguar's secondary, I guess. But there's like so little synergy, I feel. Casting a Jaguar skill in Mystic Circus empowers them to keep a Ferocity at max and increase their damage. I mean, the thing is, we don't have anything good to put on boots, so we could kind of take the Ferocity aspect for free. We could do it. I guess especially for bosses where I guess Thorns will suffer the most, it might not be a bad idea. Because with Needle Flare I can kind of clear AoE easily. Then you can do the Mystic Circles and just clean up. for the boss. So I can get... Nah. Okay, so there's no other way to gain ferocity besides Rake. I mean, you can literally cast Rake once in a while. Which might be an interesting thought. Because it's Rake to get Thorns instead of Stinger. But I may have to rely on only the passive bonus on Toxic Skin. Which is not the worst idea. And then you can do Mystic Circles. Let me see this, I can still change the glyphs. Regeneration is not bad. This is effectively HP. Not sure if it came out of damage reduction while moving that much. So here we have Turf. Swing is very far. White has the eagle damage. It's the barrier board. Seems a bit random. I feel like eagle doesn't have much to do with barriers. Wow, that was far. Got a 1 node. And now we have 21 points left. Oh my god, okay. Kind of gathered a lot of points here on the way. It's like very high level. I didn't even take this stuff there. Circles should give you max ferocity stacks. I don't think they give you ferocity stacks. It says empowers them to keep your ferocity at maximum. Okay, maybe they generate your ferocity as well. Maybe if you have 0 and you proc the circle, you get the ferocity as well. If that's the case, that would be very easy then. And then, I mean, this is OP, and then this goes into like every build. But I'm not sure if that works that way. Try adding Raptor. What? I mean, if you go for the circle stuff, we do have a kind of free boost power right now that we could do. So we can do this, yeah. But then we need an eagle skill on the bar. The good thing is if we have multiple of these Mystic Circle powers, they each have a lucky hit to spawn Mystic Circles. Casting your skill in Mystic Circles empowers them to move with you and explode and evade. So yeah, one way to build this would be with Mystic Circles. But I'm not sure if you get ferocity stacks and just like half perma ferocity stuff. Bitter medicine with the chest. Yeah, it's a national combo for sure. Because I think for bitter medicine you have to lose a life and heal a life. And then you do like a lot of damage to enemies around you. But I mean, you can do it like every 2 seconds roughly, I guess. This might be a lot of damage. A bitter medicine build might be kind of interesting. You're hoping that's the case. Yeah, certainly on a test list, I guess. And I have to say that I'm kind of at an impasse right now, because I just don't know how stuff works. Like, you know, this Mystic Circle stuff, it's kind of important to know if it works that way or not. And like some of the other stuff, like for example, what multipliers apply to the Rockspitter, Thorns, and so on. How does the Jekyll's shell work exactly? It's hard to predict. What do you think about the expansion? It's looking very good. Yeah, I also think that this Mystic Circle stuff is generally pretty crazy. So you can easily reach like 10 ferocity stacks. You can even more if you go for Hunter ult. So if you didn't go for Loyalty's Mantle, or if you go for other boots, you could get like enough cooldown reduction here on Hunter. Something like that, but yeah, tough to say, man. But let's say we have the aspect. Without the secondary hall, we are at 9 ferocity stacks, right? Yes. And then this overfills it by 4, so we have 13 ferocity stacks. And then something like the Mystic Circle thing on the neck is 130% extra damage. And then if you use the glyph for it as well, then this actually goes up to like 1300% damage. Or so, because you get roughly like 1000% Mystic Circle potency. And if this thing also just generates your ferocity and gives you max, and then you press the Jaguar ult to get like even more, yeah, it's gonna be kind of wild. Yeah, I know the second Jaguar Spirit makes it easy to get ferocity, but this is like impossible to use on this build. Because we rely on the Gorilla primary. With Loyalty's Mantle, you need to have both matching. Unless we drop the Helm. But if you drop the Helm, we drop half of our damage and half of our damage reduction. And all of our cooldown. So that's quite a lot. I mean, I guess it could do something else, but I'm not sure what that would be on the Helm slot. Harmony Helm doesn't help us. We could get cooldown by putting the Soar boots. But then we can't do the Sky Power. Yeah, either way I think it would be kind of shitty. So... Clobber enemies in front of you dealing damage. I think we need something for like big AoE. This Rockspitter stuff and the Stinger, I don't think this is it. I think it should probably be this here. Because you're gonna have a lot of resolve stacks. We're gonna have really big AoE on this Crushing Hands. Radius increase. And they just like easily hit like an entire pack. I think Rockspitter will not be good enough. This might be good for like single target, melting them. And then this is for the AoE. I don't think I want to do the Stinger shenanigans. Yeah, do this on Helm would be an option to get the stacks. And then you have Sky Power, the stacks, and then the Mystic Circles on a two-handed. I mean, the thing is that alternatively, we can still do it even if it doesn't work as we think, right? We do Mystic Circles. But yeah, I mean, we give up like half of our damage reduction because, or like half of our bear generation. That's pretty big. And half of our base damage, almost. Because most of our damage will come from the Gorilla Spirit Hall, which is doubled by Loyalty's Mantle. So it may actually not be worth it to put the power there. Maybe you can put it on just another slot. Like here. But it's the only defensive slots we have if we do this. But maybe we don't need all that block chance, to be honest. We have 45, 55. Is there any other like block chance? I think Rock Spitter gives us block chance. So we have 70 block chance. I think it may actually be fine. Just not going for 100% block. So how about we just put the duelist here. Let me do this shenanigans. Although it will be a very long cooldown, unfortunately. We have to cooldown reset here. No, maybe not. Maybe keep the protector. Because I have 0 defensive powers. This doesn't really count. Then we do the Mystic Circle thing. Casting a Jaguar skill in Mystic Circles. Pass and keep it frozen at max. So we basically have to cast one Jaguar skill once every 10 seconds. And we have Rushing Claw and Counter Attack to do that. We could maybe include another one here. We don't need Crushing Hands. So if it's not consistent enough, you could do Rake. You could do Thrash. And actually, this would not be such a bad idea. The combined strikes. I wonder if we will need Armored Height on our bar. Activating Armored Height grants maximum resolve and increases your Thorns by 100% for the duration. I guess we need it. I guess Protector is optional, but it's also a pretty big buff. I currently don't have Needle Flare. So let's just put this there so I have some AoE. And as long as we're kind of resourceful with the Rushing Claw. Yeah, the main issue I have is this is like just not very fast, because Rushing Claw will just have like a long cooldown. That's really the main issue. And we also have to get an Eagle skill somehow on the bar. So now it's getting kind of complicated. Because we want counter attack for our glyph. Do you increase Thorns damage equal to 100% of your dodge bonus? That is a lot when you have 100% dodge. And actually dodge can go above 100% chance. So I'm not sure how the active works, but I guess it just adds 100% dodge chance. I mean, this is what Leonardo's Instinct does on Rogue. It just adds plus 100% dodge no matter what you have. So you can actually go above 100% dodge chance, and I guess this will count for the glyph. So this is too good. So we can't just not run an ult. Which is weird. Since they have all this cooldown. And we also want to invest the 5 points in there. What skill ranks can I put him? Okay. Okay. Doesn't help us. Frequency barrier every 1.5 seconds. Smashing enemies. Makes it take less damage from elites. Become unstoppable. And why don't we just say fuck this? And that would be kind of interesting to know if this guy actually spawns a Mystic Circle, but it never calls out that he spawns a Mystic Circle, it just looks like one, I think. So maybe we're gonna remove all of this. Do this. And now we have the option to get another Jaguar skill. There's minimum ferocity as well. Which is also interesting. And the call skills instantly dash to the target. Now this could actually be kind of what we're looking for. We don't care about the damage there, but now we have 3 Jaguar skills on the bar. So it's very easy to trigger the Mystic Circle thing. We just need to spawn it somehow. We have 2 times 25% lucky hit chance. This thing has a 50% lucky hit chance if you count the 2 overlaps. So that means that 1 in 4 attacks on a single target will spawn a Mystic Circle with Crushing Hand. It's less of Rock Splitter, but that's okay. There's also a Ravager lucky hit chance. I'm not sure how well this works. Rushing Claw has some. And then we can do life on kill. Do we want to do life on kill? Actually, I don't think we want to. We still need an eagle skill though. Fuck. I can't do this. Okay. Casting an eagle skill in Mystic Circles empowers them to move with you. But this is fucking 15 seconds cooldown, dude. What about a Razor Wing? Is there any reason to use this? I mean, at least this does damage. You can sometimes throw the spiral. Or even this one, yeah. Or the Thunder Spike. Honestly, I'm getting closer and closer to just taking the combined strikes. I think Sword's not gonna be good enough. And I would really like to use this sphere. Can I make a Centipede build? I mean like the ult or just in general? I made a Stinger build already. And I think I'll make a second one. And then I want to make something about the Devourer. I wonder if you can like make our Devourer strong enough for late game. It could be kind of good though. I also just realized it has a Pestilent Swarm stuff there. Yeah, Spiritborn is very similar to Monk, Pinchy. The key passive will get nutty. Yeah, if we're talking about this one, yes. I tried summoning multiple Devourers, but it doesn't work, unfortunately. The old ones despawn when you summon one, which is a bit sad. Dodge will be inverse mode relief in the expansion, so you cannot reach 100% dodge. That's untrue. That's what they say, but it's untrue. I'm not sure if I should go for the Bristol Black thing. But on the other hand, we have too much dodge and too much block to really benefit from Thorns on this build, right? We kind of need to go for this. to have like any kind of consistency here, because you run around with 70% block. Else you have to do only active Thorns attacks. Which, I mean, is by far the most of our damage. So this thing says 276% Thorns to enemies you hit. And then this is doubled again. So this should be 552% Thorns. This is like 160, for example, which, I mean, is still a third of that. I guess you kind of want to go for a Bristleback. When there's like a pack hitting you, they all just kind of explode. Playing a Thorns build without any passive Thorns would be kind of weird. Yeah, I feel like I have to make too many concessions here. We cannot, okay, we cannot go Soar. Soar is just not working. It's 15 seconds cooldown. We don't have any cooldown on this build. We're gonna do the Sky Power thing. So we have to do something like just Thunder Spike. Quill Volley. There's no reason to do Quill Volley though for anything. Makes enemies vulnerable. I mean, you can use it for pulling or something when you're talking about like a pit push. Or just Razor Wings, which at least doesn't cost resources. There's a chance to get a charge. I mean, I guess this works. It is a bit weird, but it doesn't cost resources. It has a 10 seconds cooldown, which coincides pretty well with this Sky Power cooldown. Now, the funny thing is there's almost nothing that works for this, right? In terms of... like, what do I do? Potent, Resolution, Unrestrained. Maybe. Didn't really take like a lot of offensive passives. Unrestrained kind of works. Is there any reason to put extra points here, I wonder? Extra charges? No. Okay. Actually, I wanted to put one more point there in the Swift. We can. I think Tormentor aspect, which one is that again? I need to move my poison. No, I'm not doing this actually. Like, I don't really want to like have enemies move around. I mean, this is something you can probably just like throw in there when you do like, I don't know, some Helltide variant or so, right? You have to take general problem though that you're gonna miss the loot, right? Because, for example, you only find very few ancestral items, but normal items, legendaries, still show stars on the map and all that stuff. As long as you don't have loot filters, I think something like this will not be too useful. But I guess you can try this. But I'm trying to make like more of like a push variant first, before you do something like that. Like, you can always figure out like the speed farming and the leveling and so on afterwards, as long as you kind of understand what you're working towards for like the high end. So I'm trying to do this first. So we have no defensive powers, but we have the damage action by injured there. And damage action on the helm. It wouldn't hurt to just go like to Carpify, for example. Armored height, active duration 88%. Which now is 4.2 seconds. With a I get 60% cooldown reduction. Which means minus 15 seconds. So it's 10 seconds cooldown. Last 4.2. 10 seconds is kinda long. There's also this here. Armored height, active Thorns bonus. Holy. Ah, wait a minute. Maybe it doesn't matter that much. This looks like it's not a multiplier by Thorns. It looks like 100% weapon damage. It's the same as here, right? 30% dex damage. Okay. And then it doesn't matter that much, actually. Like it's nice to have lot reduction, we get our resolve refill. Still kinda nice to have. What about Thorns? No. It's like a barb thing? A necro thing? Isn't it like something like Thorns temper? Or does it not exist anymore? He has Thorns while fortified. This is from Necro. And Barb has that too. Thorns while fortified. Now we don't have any fortify on this class. But I think the status alone is good enough for me to actually run this. I mean, we can put it on the glove and the boots on the pants. It's like 48%. Even on the neck if you want it. That's a lot of fucking Thorns. If we can fortify. Which is relatively unrealistic though. The only way to get fortify here would be with assimilation, I think. Yeah. I'm not sure if this like utility temper actually works when you just have like any fortify. Do we have to be like fully fortified? Or do you have to have like the fortified like icon? Hey, Zyronos, by the way. You have the icon. Okay, I think then it's unrealistic to do this. Because it was just a kind of decay and stuff. I mean... Start some Paragon gives me dodge. I mean, we do have dodge, right? Maybe it's not that unrealistic. We have counter attack as well. Which is not even counted here. So we're actually sitting at almost 30% dodge. And then 100% when we press it. The main problem I have is that I have to put Duelist on the glove to do this. And the only way to do this would be to give up Wound Drinker, I guess. Which, I mean, is probably, yeah, the gain toxic skin's passive effect is our only way of poisoning enemies. So I guess not. Is there any other good utility powers you can put? I mean, even something like Rock Splitter's size or Crushing Hand size would be not terrible, I think. Even Barrier Generation is pretty powerful, I guess. So maybe like one of these size thingies. Something with Thorns here. What do we do now, I wonder? Close, distant. Mystic Circle potency? Probably not really, right? Bastion. I need to double check how much damage can we do with Thorns if we go for the Bastion route. This might actually be a stronger version. I don't really have like almost anything to put here. Do we put like random vulnerable damage now or what? Holy, I don't know what to put. Close. Vuln or close. Or maybe just go Mystic Circle Potency anyway. Nice glove. I'd really like to get some dodge chance, but I don't think he can. Mm-hmm. It's kind of interesting with some ranks to Ravager on the boots, you could actually get to the point where you have 4 minimum ferocity. I'm also inclined to go for percent damage here instead of vuln. Because for AoE, this would actually be just better. Because most of the time, would probably not make them vulnerable. In AoE at least. Can do this. Can do this. Let's put more res. Way too much res. More Mystic Circle. How much does the Bastion do? 10% of damage as Thorns. While I have a barrier, Thorns are increased. So let's say if I have 10 ranks to Bastion, which is very easily achievable, I get 100% of my weapon damage as Thorns. And if I do unyielding hits, 60% of your armor to all attacks for 3 seconds. So we have 10,000 armor against 6,000 of Data's extra damage, meaning 6,000 Thorns. And we don't have to play this low life shenanigans and so on. So it sounds kind of interesting to go for something like this as well. This might actually be a stronger version. How many levels does you have to find in New Zone? They're only data mined. It's not that many though, like 20 or something. I don't think Thorns will be OP since the Warrior bug. I mean, the Barbarian. I mean, that had nothing to do with this here though. Spiritborn has a lot of crazy Thorn stuff, I think. Like the number of Thorns you can get, and then you can like apply it actively. I'm not sure how OP this will be, but Thorns usually has like pretty high base damage values, and Spiritborn has a lot of like really like strong generic damage buffs as well. I mean, there is this power and this power that you have to kind of like fit in for a Thorns build to function. So you kind of lose 2 offensive slots, but you gain something really big here and here. As well as I could actually go for Hunter cooldown. That's 20%. Pre-masterwork. can actually get a lot of like old cooldown just from like 2 tempers, for example, quite easily, even if you don't have any other cooldown otherwise. There's +6 counter attack charges. Kind of inclined to take this here, honestly. Counter attack charges. Even though they come back very slowly, we don't really need them all the time. 20 seconds charge cooldown. Probably not that helpful, actually. It just takes too long. There's defensive cooldown reduction, but there's only armored height. And counter attack actually would work for both. Maybe put that here. Get our armored height back more often. There's a lot of armor here. How's my res? They actually look Omega capped. Nice. And we have it here, here, here. So maybe we want to change this a little bit. My fire res is like Omega capped. From here a little bit. And my poison should also be very capped, right? So this is 40 overcapped. It's actually surprisingly little. What if you do individual ones? So lightning. Cold. Shadow. I think that's all res. Poison is so little overcapped. We don't get 45 here. But this is easily solvable. How much is this? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So it's 35, and then a little bit more, 47.5. And this is 45 as well. So how is it so unequal? It says Paragon, I get some too. Oh. Okay, that's a bit messed up here though. So I guess realistically we get more poisonous actually. Which makes this like overcapped, which means we don't need this. Actually, I think we're gonna be fine. Or rather, can we move this? I think we can. What do we do from runes on this? We're not casting cooldowns very often. We can stand still sometimes. We can do a Decrepify combo with something like Warcry. Lose 1% of your max own life. Now. We lose... Oh, actually, I'm stupid. I just realized we keep resetting our cooldowns all the time. I forgot about the Jakim shell. I thought we have so much cooldown problems, but we actually don't. We kind of like have everything we want. So maybe I'm gonna go for Hunter. But okay, that on the side. Lose 1% of your maximum life is 20 offering per second from the shell for a cooldown. So let's say we have like 3 cooldowns running at all times. That's 60 offering per second. That's not too much. It's also not terrible. So we can do this with a decrep here, and we do this with Warcry. Since we don't care about Petrify, we just do like another class. Warcry and boom. And in that case, we can actually go Soar and not Razor Wings. Because every time we Soar, we just like get it back slowly. So we do this. We make stuff vulnerable all the time as well. We don't even need the vulnerable very much. But I guess it will be nice to have one roll. Can we do Dex or life? What's my life here? You have 10k, that looks plenty. Spitter size, crushing hand size. Is there any other cool utility thing we can do? Barrier generation. Maybe? And it says crushing hands and radius is increased by 5% for each stack of resolve. So this doesn't sound the same as size increase. So we kind of want to put that actually somewhere. Rushing claw charges. Charge cooldown 10 per 20 seconds. Dude, that's actually nuts. So every 2 seconds I can do a rushing claw. And then it just comes back. Okay, that's actually crazy. What's our move speed? 139. Sword cooldown. I mean, my sword will come back in roughly 4 seconds when I use it. And I gain a move speed buff for 3 seconds if I hit no enemy. And we also gain a 4 seconds vulnerable afterwards. Main characters, we have to heal all that stuff. So, I'm not sure how we'll heal that much. How do we heal in this game? I mean, there is for fueled here. Which might be unironically something you want to spec into. While you have 4 stacks of ferocity. Okay, this is fine. This has a 10% dodge. So this does not seem to scale. The 4 charge refill is only once every 20 seconds for 4 charges anyway. And this seems to scale. This has 10 charges every 20 seconds. Okay. Also put some ranks in Swift. Okay. Gonna be really tanky with this class, a lot of damage reduction. Yeah. I mean, there's 27 DR here, but I mean, this is like triple masterwork GA and stuff. And here, I mean, I have no idea what is the real value on this. This seems not quite true. Even if you don't do any GA or something, it's already more than 100, so it doesn't make much sense. So realistically, this is a way smaller number, but probably some DR and some DR here. We don't have any defensive power though, besides Bruiser, which is not really defensive power. Okay, I have to put a Mystic Circle thing. So Mystic Circle is a main stat glyph, right? No, it's an int glyph. Okay, what's the biggest int board? 49, 45, 49 again. This one has Turf, which is strength there, and this one has Hubris that I also kind of want to keep. Maybe I can remove Exploit. Which is not really that needed. And then we put a Ritual here. And Turf here. It's the same strength. Two, three, four. Hey, sure. Yeah, please not. I have enough work to do until then. Don't start the season. Oh man. Yeah, this has been an interesting session, trying to explore what you can do with Thorns. It is kind of weird. Where was this? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So like this basically. There's also only 4 boards here. Is there like some better board? Whisker Shield. Infighter. There's an int node there. This also has an int node. Now this is kind of interesting. Do we actually have any kind of additive damage bonus? We have damage that is close. I don't think actually the 2 highest bonuses to damage types combined up to 300% total. So we need... I actually don't need much, we need 150%. Okay, so we're just gonna get it by default, right? Like this. And now we have how much Mystic Circle potency? 403%. So I think going for more Mystic Circle potency is actually not a bad idea. All the Mystic Circle potency. So how much does one roll of Mystic Circle potency actually help us? Should probably check that out. So 400, 500. So with just the glyph, we have 5 times 13 And we have 9 ferocity stacks times 9. So it's a 585% damage buff. And if you have extra Mystic Circle potency, like this, we have 800 in total. Let's check out. That's like 100, 2, 3. Okay. Times 13. Times. Whoops. Wait, I think this is right by 100. Times 13. Times 9. So it's a 936% damage buff. So the difference here is 51% DPS. So I think it's still worth to go for Mystic Circle potency on all of our gear. Then we could even like still min-max this further and see, okay, do we need the attack speed more than the Mystic Circle potency or not? We definitely want the primary Gorilla Hull. I think something like that is probably fine, for example. Something like this. Depending on the breakpoints, we have no idea about the skills breakpoints on this class, so yeah, that's what it is. I have too much armor as well. I wonder if I could get away with like one less armor roll. Like a GA here. Or the other way around. Okay, we can do Dex here, for example. I guess realistic, it's easier to get armor pants like that. Drop this armor. I want the max resolve stacks though. So I'll do armor here maybe. It's kind of weird to think that it gets away with only one armor roll and this percent armor roll. Which, by the way, we haven't even upgraded, as realized. So we can actually do this very easily. So do something like that. And then, I mean, there's damage reduction on poison enemies. Dude, there's 65% damage reduction on poison enemies. What the fuck, man? Okay. Something like that, maybe. Dude, there's so much DR everywhere, man. Holy. This is a build that has no mythics. I think it's the first time I make a build in the endgame that has no mythics. Which is kind of weird. I mean, look at those uniques. Will I be responsible for Spiritborn max roll? Mostly, yes. I will do a lot of Spiritborn stuff for the expansion. I'll do also like maybe 1 or 2 rogue guides. I've done like the Death Trap guide, for example, already pretty much. Ferocity is attack speed. I mean, we don't know if Ferocity goes into cap 1 or 2. I have no idea about that. It could be either, I guess. But yeah, like you want to have a lot of attack speed here because you want to attack very quickly, to spend vigor, to heal, to then reduce your cooldowns. So attack speed is actually really valuable on this build, I think. In fact, if you really want to make this like a bossing variant, for example, I would probably just drop Needle Flare aspect. I guess you want to put Bristleback on. Maybe not even run to Bristleback, honestly. We could probably drop, you know, this and this aspect. Do like a Starlight Ring even, if you want it. Do you have more damage? More resources? You have lots of attack speed on that thing. So for like bossing, this would actually be the thing you want to do, I think. And not rely on the boss hitting you or something. You just, stand there, you know, before, you know, imagine like, I don't know, like all the pit bosses and stuff, right? They're all kind of just slow and not hitting you much. So the passive Thorns is actually not doing that much on boss fights. So in that case, running with a Starless is not a bad idea. And then Needle Flare also wouldn't help you very much. I didn't play Spiritborn, but not beyond level 30 right now. I'm just like field crafting the builds. Definitely gonna play. Tormentos instead of Needle Flare for bossing. Yeah, I mean... No. I mean, how much do they move, really? You stand there and you tank them, right? You're gonna be like a fucking invincible tank, right? I mean, it's a gorilla build. We have like insane barrier per second. So... yeah, we don't need something like this because they will not move. You're just gonna face tank everything. You're just gonna stand there and blast them. You don't even just like max out your block chance, for example. You don't even have max block chance. It doesn't matter. Do you inherently gain the base spirit buff utility for that base spirit you pick? Do all gorilla skills do 100% Thorns damage? No, they don't. If you choose the Spirit Hall, then all of your skills do the Thorns thing. All of your skills become gorilla and all of them do the Thorns. If you don't have this, if you're like Centipede, primary, then there's no Thorns here. Only if the skill says so. Like Rock Splitter has Thorns, for example. But in our case, actually the main damage source is the gorilla primary Spirit Hall effect. So we're just trying to stack generic damage multis and potency to gorilla Spirit Hall. We have that here on the weapon. And then more potency here as well from loyalty. It's a kind of weird build, I gotta say. I wonder how this will work. I'm quite curious to try this out. Fortunately, I have a lot of points spent. But I mean, okay, you can get like an extra res roll or so if you have, and you can like drop some of the rest stuff. There's all these percent Thorns. How many percent Thorns things are there? This is 25% Thorns. This is 30, 35, 40, 45. So this is 70. And then 90, 95. So it's double Thorns, basically, just in the Paragon. So that's actually pretty good. Maybe boss attacking counts as moving since they're unstoppable? No, it doesn't. That'd be very strange. For the skills that trigger Thorns with that damage scale to skills damage multipliers. So I tried this with Rock Splitter and that actually does work, yes. If you do Rock Splitter and Moonrise aspect or adaptability aspect or so, this worked. But only for this Thorns effect. Like if you attack a Rock Splitter while having the Gorilla power, or the Gorilla Hall, then you get 2 Thorns instances. And one of them will be buffed and one will be not. So yeah, it could be that it's like a general thing where you can like actually buff, let's say for example Payback also has some Thorn stuff with the aspect, right? Payback echoes forward and additional deals 210% of your Thorns to enemies. So if you like Omega spam this, yeah, I mean this could be nice, but the thing is that spamming payback is hard to do. It is possible in two separate ways. One is use Jakim's shell, just like this build. And then you have like, you know, cooldown reduction cap basically. So with cooldown reduction cap, payback's cooldown will be 3.75 seconds. And then every second you get a tick where it's -3. So basically once a second you can do a payback if you do this. So this is one way of doing it. And the other way is to go with the unique weapon. Rod of Kepedeki. That makes your core skills into basic skills and free to cast. And like this you can just spam payback as much as you want, even with high attack speed. So this is most likely the way to build a payback build. At least the payback Thorns build. Because I don't think that the Rod of Kepedeki will actually really like be a downside. It says to deal up to 30% less damage based on their cost. I mean, this thing doesn't have a cost, it has a cooldown. But either way, maybe the 30% less damage just does not apply in this case, because we're talking about the Thorns portion of it. On the other hand, if you assume that multipliers to the skill apply, then I guess the 30% less should also apply. But yeah, we don't know. Did you think about Zeppa Zontic in a Thorns build? I did. And this would be like a separate way of building it, and I'm not sure if it's better. So the reason to go Zeppa Zontic is what I'm just describing. You can do like a Rock Splitter Thorns build, or you can do it just like a generic Thorns build. Generic meaning you use the Gorilla Spirit Hall to deal Thorns damage. And Zeppa Zontic allows you to boost the Rock Splitter Thorns, which is separate. So there's like another, you don't even need to go for the Gorilla Hall in that case even, if you don't want to. There's actually many ways of building Thorns. There's not even like the only two ways. So I'm not sure which one of those will be the best one. But yeah, like let's assume that all of the damage modifiers actually apply. Then Zeppa Zontic could be pretty useful as well, because then you can go Moonrise, Adaptability, Zeppa Zontic, and then I don't know, like one or two good offensive powers basically. And just like Rock Splitter your way through. You can do the Mystic Circles again if you want, or whatever. Yeah, Payback becomes a core skill with one of the upgrades on it. That's on the skill tree. Gorilla Spirit Hall and Zeppa Zontic does not double dip now. The Gorilla Spirit Hall is its own thing. You get two separate Thorns hits when you have Gorilla and Rock Splitter. And the Gorilla Hall is not buffed by basic attack bonuses. But the Rock Splitter one is. So you can do like a Rock Splitter one, but not go Gorilla, for example. So it's like another way of doing it. So here in this case, you get all these follow through ranks, which is the basic attack passive. So 6 ranks to that with like some master working. That's, let's say, 10 ranks. So you always get the third hit. So you basically have like double damage from follow through. And then this Zeppa Zontic itself is like 75% extra damage. You have Moonrise, that's like 120. You have Adaptability, that's 120 or something. Or 80. It's like a lot of damage. So yeah, this Rock Splitter Thorns definitely has some potential here. And then you can still try to go for the Mystic Circle stuff, if you really want. Because you can now, for example, just go Jaguar secondary, get your Ferocity that way. Have infinite Ferocity. And just kind of like left click your way through. And then you can also go Harmony Helm. Because that should now also work as a multiplier. Yeah, this might be like just a better way of building this whole thing. Maybe I should do like a new version. Like this. So we can actually do this right now. Thank you, Book Comics. I intend for saw build. I actually made a saw build already. Actually, let me check. Did I mess something up with the runes there? Invoke a power from another class. No, I did not actually. Okay, all fine. So I can do this. Let me delete this. Set pass on deck. Okay, I don't think you can do the low life stuff on this. So we probably have to go Razor Plate. Because you also don't want to do the barrier shenanigans. So I think it's like a Razor Plate angle. No bruiser aspect. Because they have really good aspects to put here anyway. So I have to like change the setup a little bit. But I can try to make this work, let's see. So just stand still and decrab maybe. Then we'll see. So delete this thing. So maybe there is a reason to use Razor Plate. No bruiser shenanigans. So how good is Moonrise these days? 150%. And adaptability, also 150. It's nutty, man. So the adaptability, neck. And then Moonrise, normal. And then Thorns damage dealt has a chance to deal damage to all enemies around you. And your minions. Any dodge or block, you trigger and Thorns. We don't need this. So this could be Moonrise. We also don't need this, I guess. I mean, it doesn't have terrible stats, and the 400 Thorns is still not nothing. The 400 Thorns is like 15% increase or so, and this is before we could masterwork it up as well. So I could also do stuff like this here and like, get more Thorns. So it's not terrible. We don't need the Vigor for anything though. We don't need the Crushing Hands or anything. Don't need any of this stuff. Oh, actually, it's fine. We do 3 points here, 3 points there, and boom. And then, how many ranks is that? 2, 1. Ah, interesting. So this is 2, 1, 2, 2. 1, 2. So we want to do something like that, I guess. And there's cooldown reduction. I mean, maybe we just don't care and we just go this. How much cooldown is this? 37. Kinda nice. Yeah, Sonic is pretty good, but you also have to remember, if you look at these like unique weapons here, you lose your double damage tempers, you lose like the doubled aspects, and there's like crazy aspects on this class. So all these uniques are kind of hard to beat. They're pretty crazy, but they're also hard to beat. Simple reprisal, which one's that? You have a 45% chance to unleash payback. I mean, it's like a separate way of playing payback, which I don't think is really useful. Now, there is a payback build I want to make, which is based on the other unique weapon. So there is also the Rod of Kepeleke. So this is a way to play payback, where you do like a non-Thorns payback build. And you have to lose and fill your resources on every single attack. So you have to somehow get enough resource generation that while spamming payback, you get full resources. So that's the idea behind that setup, which I think is possible. And then maybe on the way there, you could play with something like this simple reprisal aspect. Or you can also just try to do something like a Thorns payback thing, where you actually spam this. But I don't think you would go for Sepan Sonntag to use simple reprisal. Because if you do this, then you can't put simple reprisal on the two-handed, and you have less chance to proc it. And you also lose like very important stats, I think, on your tempers. If you look at okay, chance to do double damage or payback might not actually really apply to the Thorns, it does, but maybe it does. Hard to say. Yeah, we have to do a lot of interaction testing, to be fair. How good is the payback aspect? Payback echoes forward, additional deals 210% of your Thorns damage to enemies. Yeah, let's say we assume that payback actually functions like this. With like all the Thorns, all the damage multipliers that go to the skill also go to the Thorns. Even then, I mean, we have these insane aspects here. I think this is just like a spam box, but that's it. You don't care about resources. There's this. Anytime you do direct damage to an enemy with Jaguar skill, unleash additional answers. This is double Jaguar angle. We can't really do that actually. Because of harmony. We can't do Eagle. I don't really want to do Sandy Beat. Okay, maybe we don't need a Jaguar secondary. And we could do something like this. Get our healing. So this is an idea. Now, what do we do here? We don't have a core skill right now, which we don't care about very much. Dude, this follow through ranks is insane, by the way. It's like triple damage. Just for basics like that. I wonder if I actually want to put like extra points there, but I don't think so. It is kind of funny that this thing has follow through ranks and not basic ranks. But I like that. And maybe we still go for Mystic Circles in this case. That's the wrong one. Casting a Jaguar skill in Mystic Circles empowers Synergy for us here at max. I think I'm gonna kind of keep most of the same synergies here. You don't have Tyrael, so you also keep the rest there. Adding enemy Jaguar skills increase the damage they take from you, so you want this now since you have Jaguar tag. I mean, you could consider an alt, I guess. I feel like Prodigy's Tempo is a very fun key passive. But I'm not sure if it's really that good. Maybe it's just like more of like an early game thing. Because Noxus Resonance is just ridiculous. It's also pretty ridiculous. And that's just kind of like the backup, I feel. Just need extra damage to healthy enemy. Okay. Okay, so we could remove the ring and have one more offensive power. We don't want to remove this, or this, or this. Or any of the other stuff here. Yeah, it's actually not such a huge change, this entire setup. But I do have way worse cooldowns now, which is a bit of a problem. There is a bit of cooldown here. But the cooldown will not feel good. So let's do defensive cooldown like this. There's this ring here that gives you toxic skin passive effect all the time. I put it on the bar now as well. Because I'm not really sure if I want to have like another skill here. We don't have much cooldown reduction, so I think going for an ult is not the way. We don't have the Jackham's gel. So yeah, maybe it's got something like this as a concept now. And then how's this looking? I think this will probably also stay pretty much the same. We just want to scale Thorns and all the other stuff. This looks okay. Armor looks okay. I guess I'm just gonna leave this here pending interactions testing. So, Thorns Gorilla Hall. This is Thorns Rock Splitter. Actually, let's not do this. And now would be like an interesting question, what about Bastion stacking? Where can I put Bastion ranks? Yeah, it's an offensive temper. I can get a lot of Bastion ranks. This might actually be an even stronger way of doing it. So I should try that. But it will depend on how it works. So we do this. This. We're gonna lose a bunch of stuff there as well. And we don't do this. There's a ring that has Bastion. Can we search for it? No. But one of them does have it. Why am I confusing it? I think I'm confused with Patient Guard. Maybe it's another item. Not this one. Not the boots. No, okay, maybe it's just the tempers. Here it says 150% of our weapon damage as Thorns. And now if we do some funny stuff like unyielding hits, casting risk, that's 80% of your armor to all attacks. Now, does that make sense to do something like this is a question. Thorns can naturally already hit thousands of base damage. And we could probably go higher than that if we do this. But the advantage of Thorns is that it's usually much higher than the base damage of a weapon. Like a base damage of a weapon is like 500-ish. And now Thorns is like more like 4,000-ish. Maybe more on the low life build. On low life build it's like almost 6,000. So I think doing this whole unyielding hit shenanigans doesn't make sense at all to do as a Thorns build, I think. Because yeah, we can hit like, let's say 10,000 armor and then get like 8,000 Thorns. But this will not actually be like an improvement over a regular Thorns build. So maybe this is not the way, and it's just like for actual attack builds. So I think this Bastion stuff might not make sense, even though we can get so much of it. Rock Splitter 2 words. Dude. Is it? Fuck. Okay, happy. I delete the ring. Okay, let's make a new one, I guess. So you're gonna take the same one again. There's also this one here, which is kind of a downside actually on this build, but it does have a lot of cooldown. And I'm not sure what would be the delivery tool for all the spawns that we're trying to do here. Something that attacks very quickly and hits a lot of targets. Which I guess is probably Quill Volley. But it doesn't bring like any Thorn synergy by itself. But with Gorilla we can make it a Gorilla skill, trigger unyielding hits. Yeah, relying on enemies to hit you to poison them is not really great. On the other hand, it's just, you know, just double damage on poison. So it's not too bad. You know, it will be active on bosses and most elites and stuff. Hi, Gary. How many recipes have you cooked up? Quite a lot. There's gonna be a lot of like concepts that I'm gonna cook here, and then I guess whenever I get a chance I'll have to test a lot of interactions because I'm not really sure what works, how. There'll be like a lot of questions that need to be answered. So I think I'd rather just like make too many planners and just delete some at the end, depending on what works a certain way. I wonder if I could just play the low life stuff anyway if you do this. And then you have Bruiser anyway. We just have like more Thorns. So how does it compare to the other Thorns thing that we did earlier with the Gorilla Spirit Hall thing? So this was this one. We had Bruiser Aspect, Bristleback, Needle Flare. Yeah, we need like some active tool to deliver the Thorns. We have to keep Needle Flare, I think, for AoE clear. We don't really need Bristleback, I think. Question is, how can we stack so much armor to really make this worth it? We need a lot of fucking armor. And I don't think we're gonna get there. Even if I do something like this, yeah. I mean, yeah, we have 2.7k armor. Maybe if this takes the pre-penalty, it's like 3 point something. . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . Yeah, it's not worth it, I think. I think this Bastion Thorn stuff is not the way. Like, we lose so many other little things as well. We like lose the aspect. We really have to put like, you know, tempers, masterworks on armor. We lose like, I don't know, 15-20% damage there from just not having a roll on the neck. I probably want to like drop this, get another armor chest or another armor helm or something. Instead of out here. Yeah, I think this is not working out. This Bastion Thorn stuff. Let's delete this. Spin Necromancer of Bone Spirit the strongest at the moment. Yeah, it's pretty close. If I get like raw damage output, Necromancers are the best actually. But yeah, there's a bunch of pretty strong builds out there right now, and the PDR, they are pretty cracked, yes. Partly due to bugs. Hey, Bunkus. No early morning. Yeah, I was working on guides a lot, so I started late. I'm not gonna stream long tonight. I'm quite busy like this next week, so I'll do kind of short streams. The name changed again. Okay. Soul Rift, strong necro build. It's one of the strong ones. I did a T100 pretty comfortably with Soul Rift, but Bone Spirit is the way for like high-end pushing. Is he gonna cook with Spiritborn the entire month? Basically. I mean, I will be playing a little bit here and there. First of all, I still need to finish my level 1 item only rogue, so I will eventually log in Season 5 again. I also have prepared like a Bone Spirit necro somewhere that I may or may not play. But yeah, I'm not really too motivated to keep playing more in Season 5, to be honest. It's just like this rogue project, maybe. It's gonna be like a one evening thing, probably. And then we'll see. But other than that, yeah, it's just gonna be cooking. Like, basically, by the time this releases, I need to know every single aspect and every single number on this class. And Paragon node. And skill and passive and so on. And all the possible combinations of those. So that's the plan. You don't have to do the story again. Story can be skipped, technical. Well, the new story, I think, cannot be skipped. You have to do it once. In Russia, they are shutting down YouTube. Oh, shit. I'm worried about Spiritborn. Yeah, I'm worried. I'm gonna have way too much fun with this class, man. I tried this insatiable aspect, and I think it might have been buggy when I played with it. This is the Touch of Death one. Yeah. Or maybe it was just like really undertuned or something like that. I think what it means of the damage it would have done, it probably counts like, you know, how much lifetime the Touch of Death has left. You know, like let's say it expires after like, or like it bursts after like half its like expiry date or something, then maybe it would have attacked 4 more times, and then it just adds that into the explosion or something like that. Or if there's some here, the poisoning thing, maybe because of this here. I'm not really sure. I tried this a little bit and it kind of felt like it did nothing. But I think this thing was also map buffed, like the numbers was way smaller, I believe, when I played this. 300%, it seems very high. Spiritborn. Yes. Spiritborn is a nice guy. Yeah, he seems very excited about this class. He's like the head of Spiritborn development, basically. He's like designing a lot of the mechanics and stuff. He's a nice guy. It was very fun talking to him when I was there. I mean, you could try to mix them with Touch of Death. I don't really know how strong this will be, though. I don't really trust it. I mean, the Touch of Death itself has a lot of poison damage built in, which does allow you to do some cool poison stuff. So that is kind of good. I think that the swarms necessarily won't do too much. Touch of Death infection heals you. You heal any remaining when the swarm hatches. There's a core skill. Touch of Death swarm bursts every second, applying 30% of its base poisoning damage over 6 seconds to surrounding enemies. Yeah, I mean, there's one problem here. If you don't take this thing, then you can't spam it. And if you take this thing, then... sorry, the other way around. So if you take this, you can spam it. If you take this here, then you can't. I mean, there is a way to spam it, actually. It says, applies 30% of its base poison damage over 6 seconds to surrounding enemies. I mean, it's not that much, to be fair. If you look at this. 30% over the entire duration is not that much. I think this actually has like insane single target damage. I mean, look, does 300% base poisoning damage over 9 seconds. That's kind of nutty. That's a lot. When a swarm is replaced early, it bursts of 450% of the damage it would have done. Yeah. But yeah, this is really experimental, I guess. If that kind of solves your AoE damage, then you could actually have like some pretty nutty single target boss killer there also. Which is like spam Touch of Death into a target and it just like melts. Wasn't there like some ring? This one. Only of any ferocity and poison deal that damage in 33% of the normal duration. And then there's a toxic skin effect where you get like the crits. While toxic skin is active, your poison deals an additional 25% of its damage over time as critical strikes to vulnerable enemies. I mean, vulnerable is not so bad. And actually, I just realized this always is a crit. You don't even have to have crit chance. You only need to have crit chance for this. But this means with Noxus Resonance, you want to go for 100% crit chance anyway, right? Like, imagine you can spam Touch of Death into the target. You have 100% crit chance. So as you ramp up the poison on the target, you get like bigger and bigger Noxus Resonance pops every time you attack because you always pop it. And then it's just like keeps exploding the 9 seconds and, you know, multiple times of 9 seconds dots that he stacked up on a target. So this would actually kind of just source a single target. You stack 100% crit chance, you go Noxus Resonance, and spam. It costs 70 vigor, but this is solvable. So I think that's what you'd actually do here. I don't care about this here. The poison damage benefit from Atlas ability. I mean, this is a core skill. If you use the Rod of Kapaleka, you can also make it a basic skill, and then you can do adaptability. So you can do this. In fact, that's probably the way. So instead of trying to stack 100% crit chance, we get a guaranteed crit from using this weapon. We don't really care about critting with the Touch of Death itself. Well, we do, but we don't care about the crit damage of the hit. We just want to get a crit, so every time we get a crit, we get Noxious Resonance. So we want to stack up poisons with touch. And then we also want to crit on every touch. We can do it quite easily with the rod. And like this, we can also benefit from stuff like adaptability and Moonrise. And then the way to solve the resources would be with the where is it? This one, Midnight Sun. Critical strikes restore 30% of the vigor you have spent in the last 2 seconds. So basically, you attack, you attack, you attack. So after like 2 or 3 attacks or so, you just kind of like ramp into infinity resources very quickly. Because it just expends so much resources, it just comes back instantly every time you attack. Because you crit every time, you get this effect every time. Now the main problem I have with this is that this whole effect, while we do get a crit, which is nice, it doesn't give, we don't benefit from the crit strike damage bonus. This is not working for the dots. So I'm not sure if this is really worth going for. If you look at the tempers, let's see what we got for tempers here on Touch of Death. Chance for Touch of Death swarms to reinfect on hit. Okay, so what the hell does that mean? Dude, I have no idea what to believe with that temper. Like, what does that mean? Chance for Touch of Death swarms to reinfect on hit. It doesn't sound like it's like the typical, like, hit twice, right? So I don't think I will actually get this 300% poison damage again. I'll get the swarms. It says strike an enemy and infect them, but this is not exactly the swarm, right? This is your strike. When the infection expires or the host dies, a swarm hatches and seeks enemies for 9 seconds, dealing 10% damage per hit. Yeah. That swarm's auto attacks could apply a full Touch of Death poisoning, that's what it sounds like. But it doesn't say anywhere that it does that. Just says it does 10% damage per hit. And then you have the burst thing, yeah. It bursts every second, applying 40% of its base poisoning over 6 seconds. Yeah, honestly, no idea, man. Resource ring, cooldown boots, use mythic weapon with ultimate. The mythic weapon has no place here. This is for like a crit overpower build. And first of all, I don't think this effect is very strong anyway. But let's assume you use this. I mean, overpower doesn't help you. And I mean, guaranteed crits is mildly nice, but you can do that with Rod of Capileke as well, which also gives us, by the way, like insane skill ranks. More even, right? No, it's actually slightly less. This is 10, this is 8. But you also have the other maximum resource thing. You probably don't go for the maximum resource here, right? This thing has cooldown and resource, which is cool. Both of these are nice stats, but it can't... Like for a Noxious Resonance build, we cannot do this unless we go 0 Ferocity. If we don't play with Ferocity at all, then I guess we can do it. Yeah, whatever. Oops. Here. Do we have any other kind of similar working example? I don't know, I don't think so. Do VAR bleed builds have a chance in Season 6 like Flay? Not very much. Rend is down bad. Rapture might kind of work at least. But I think it has also kind of become an overpower build at this point. I'm not sure exactly. It's mostly overpower builds or bars right now. And then maybe who knows about the Thorns and maybe the Earthquake, Dust Devil stuff. But it says the touch of them swarms. Like it mentions the swarms here. And you're not casting a swarm, you are hitting the target and infect them. But maybe the temporary wording is kind of weird and it just like gives you double, right? So if that's the case, then it probably means that I guess what they want to convey here is that you can do one attack and get 2 swarms out of it. And of course double the damage. So maybe this is why. Now the question is, can that double proc our Noxious Resonance? Maybe. Whenever you heal, your poison damage is increased by 18%. This thing has nourishment on it. So we go for 0 ferocity builds. We do this. The thing is that even if that works, let's just say this completely doubles the damage of Touch of Death. Do I want to use it or Rod of Kabaleki? Which also gives me like ridiculous amounts of skill ranks, by the way. Where can I even get Touch of Death ranks? I guess it's like a helm thing. Yes. So this means there's no way I'm gonna get skill ranks besides Glove. So I can do core skill ranks. I do Noxious Resonance. Casting a Gorilla skill. How about we do an unyielding hits angle here? And we do the shell. And we do bruiser. So how much armor do we gain from this? 7.5 increased armor. So it's 750% increased armor, which I suppose just takes additively with the other increased armor. So we don't really need like an armor roll on the neck or on the ring. But we want flat armor where we can. So we do this. We do this. Now, is this a Shaco angle? Nah, it cannot be a Shaco angle, right? It's a harmony angle always. So we do that. Now we don't have armor there, so I have armor here, armor there. That's actually not very much. And then... Ugh. I'd like to get some more skulls as well. Kinda cool. But maybe not. Playing Barb Rent every season. Season 5 was the easiest so far. But we're gonna not get the Infernal Hordes 8. Okay, Infernal Hordes 7 is still kinda nice. We will play Rent in Season 6 again after Spiritborn. Good luck. I'm playing Bleed Quake. Is that with like the Rent ring? This is what he got for... Okay, let me check this out. Just out of curiosity. If we have like... Okay, how many Tyrannals? So you don't go to low life stuff. What the fuck is going on? 28 ranks. Oh, you have the mythic weapon. I mean, 27 to all skills is kind of tempting, to be honest. On the other hand, do we care? It does make single target quite good. But the problem is, I think you always want to trigger Noxus Resonance. And don't think that you want to rely on Nesekim. It's only once every 5 seconds that a random enemy gets marked. I don't really trust this. I mean, okay, his crit chance is still 60, which is not terrible, I suppose. But you have crit chance on the neck and life, which is kind of weird. Gain resolve for each 100 vigor and gain over 100. Every 10, okay. And you have Pestilence Swarm. Interesting. Yeah, I think I'm gonna keep going here. I think I'm gonna try the unyielding hits bruiser check with the Jakim shell. It's just gonna be very hard to actually get enough armor and res. But damage is gonna be nuts. That's 80% of your armor to all attacks. I wanna try to make such a setup now. Let's see, let's do res, let's do this. Do we care about blocking on this build? I'm not really sure. What about we do Juggernaut? Juggernaut is a whole 349 armor, man. Yikes. But in our case would actually add quite a lot. Base armor. Maybe like this. Now here we can actually do some funny shenanigans, like lose X% of your life with like 5 cooldowns running. We lose 50% of our life. So we gain like around 100 offering. But you also have to regenerate a lot. Which we can, I guess, with Centipede. No, we can't do that actually. You have to build this a lot more defensively, I think, if you want to have a chance. You don't really need to block chance stuff though. Might be better ways. There's also an aspect of forest power. Gain a barrier for 25% of your life, which increases your armor as well. So we could do Mystic Circle shenanigans. But we need... Nah, shit, we can't, because we need Ferocity for that. We can't go Ferocity because we have the Midday Hunt ring. But we don't actually have to do this. We don't need the maximum vigor for anything. We don't want to do the shorter duration necessarily anyway. We can do Scorn of the Earth, so let's delete this. We can do Starless, which is nice. It also has res, which is also useful. But I think we have a serious res issue here. I don't think we'll have enough res. We will have enough armor, but how much armor can we actually hit if we do all this? I don't really want to have a generator on the bar. But I think it would be good to have as a backup. And it can give us some DR. Or we can get Vigor there. It's also not bad. Okay, what do we do here? Dude, actually, that sounds kind of wild if you go for Mystic Circle potency. And we can now go for Jaguar as well. And we can do... Shit. I'd really like to take the Forest Power. Don't think we can. I think I have to remove the boots. As sad as that sounds. I think I have to remove this. We go Duelist. I mean, it's not required to go Duelist, but it is... We have Jack and Shell to give us our cooldowns back, so it might be fine. Casting a Jaguar skill in the Mystic Circles empowers them. Okay. I wonder where Harmony will drop, man. Imagine that just drops from like Varshan or Grégoire or some shit. Boom. New execute bleeding enemies. Mythic is going to be insanely good for him and Barb. Yeah, I guess for some builds where you don't really have like consistent like execute basically. Maybe Rupture has too long cooldown or so, you don't want to Rupture all the time. Could be nice for speed farm. So far I've not really used too many unique weapons, yeah, especially the mythics. I really want to make a build around this one, yeah, the Wushnakpa. Ultimate, Vigor on kill, Supremacy, Crit. Casting ultimate grants and smashing primary spirit hall bonus and increases all skill ranks by 10 for 15 seconds. And they gain national skill type. Devour becomes a potency. Yeah, Devour build will be very fun. I wonder if I would actually like to use this weapon though for it. It doesn't actually add like... Okay, it adds plus 10 to the ultimate skill, which makes it very easy to keep up. Must be raid drop. I think the raid doesn't actually give you any real loot, does it? I don't know. I mean, it can't really give you much because it's a forced co-op feature. You can't really force everyone into co-op feature and give them an item like this. It must be on one of the bosses, I guess. Who knows? Mephisto drop, let's go. This and Amazonic will cost billions on trade. Probably. Yes. Yo, Chronologist, thank you, man. So we can do lose life. We can do skill ranks, Warcry. Okay, how much of our life do we lose again? Let's say we lose like 30% per second. We can lose more than that, no? Touch of Death Infection heals you for 2% of maximum life. You heal any remaining when a swarm hatches. Yeah, I will actually have like insane healing like this. In fact, I might have too much healing. I just realized. I might have to avoid like stuff like nourishment and so on. Because if I just, let's say I spend this like once, let's say twice per second, right? So if I have 5 cooldowns running, I get drained by 50% per second. But then I attack twice, I gain 20. That's probably multiplied by healing received and stuff. So a bit more. And then I also gain 18% of my maximum life. Basically, as soon as I have 3 times attacked and 3 storms are active. Yeah. You heal any remaining when the swarm hatches. Yeah, we're gonna have way too much healing. That's the bottom line. I don't think I can actually do this low life stuff. This is just not gonna work. We have way too much healing. Yeah, no chance, I think. Too bad. I wonder when I will finally make this Bruiser's unyielding hits combo. So I think in that case, this is gonna be a Plains power. No Bruiser shenanigans, no low life shenanigans actually. I mean, we could do this anyway if you wanted. We just have way too much healing, but it does give us all the cooldowns. But realistically, I think it's like a Tyrael's angle. How about that? Or if not this, we can do a Shroud angle. Which is also kind of nutty. And then we don't need this stuff very much. So we can do Scorn of the Earth. We can do Duelist. And then this Emerald here is to be replaced with something else. I guess it'll be the Touch of Death thing, right? So let's just assume that this is actually a good aspect for this. So we go back to the Mystic Circle stuff. What's the negate on this thing? 20. But I guess the dodge will also carry some lucky hit, and maybe even the swarms will carry some lucky hit. So he might trigger it often enough. Please not another Tyrael's build. And we have Starless already to help us out with the res. It might be fine. And we have 2 Mystic Circle powers. Which should make this like pretty comfy. We have like ridiculous amounts of healing and 2 Mystic Circle powers to give a ridiculous amount of barrier as well. So if they ever get through my barriers, I will be like instantly full HP. So I think we should be fine, unless I get like one-tapped by something massive. The thing is that even if I am CC, for example, I still get the passive healing here, quite a lot of it actually. From this. So I think we should generally be okay here. Increase crit damage per second ferocity, so I think ferocity will, furnace will not work. But what might work here is like an alt. We could do the hunter. Yes, let's do this. Let's do this, let's do this. Potency, defensive, or focus skill. Now this is a potency skill. But do we care enough? I don't need Saw on the bar, really. I don't even need Rock Splitter on the bar, really. Do we have a way to generate Vigor passively? I guess you can get it from Velocity. But we need to hit 100% crit chance. The question is, can we? I don't think I can. This thing has no crit. This is not enough. Is there something here that gives us like temporary crit chance or something? That's a crit damage, which is kind of cool. You gain counterattacks passive bonus, so we do this anyway. This is a guaranteed crits. Yeah. Next hit against enemy struck by swords, guaranteed crits. Yeah, not really. Do you usually have uniques while leveling? Some, yeah. Uniques start dropping now in World Tier 1 already. And also on Season Journey stuff gives you a lot of uniques and so on. Okay, there is one way to get a lot of crit here actually, which would be the glyph or the rune. Also, why is there like no text shown on this item for some reason? Interesting. So Casa core skill is 25. What do we have there? Lose 1% life. We don't do that actually. So we can do Casa core skill, Decrep, and then other class, Warcry. Yeah, well, wrong part is all. Thanks for Brian. Now, if that is not enough, you can also go for crit chance. You get 25% crit chance here. So this would also allow us to cap out if you want it. It's nothing with crit here. No. I have one leveling build I made so far, and I have to make more this week now as well. I just kind of been cooking endgame stuff and trying to figure out what are actually combos that you want to hit. So this also helps me to kind of like tell what I should put in the leveling guides, I guess. So on lands where you're targeting is. Rushing Claw is a fixed distance. So you have to target an enemy with Rushing Claw, but it has a fixed distance. So you either go like through the enemy to the other side or exactly atop the enemy if it's like on max range. What kind of build is this? I'm trying to make a Touch of Death build, which is a very interesting skill. I really like how it feels. It has like this Witch Doctor vibe a bit from D3, which I like. So do we do damage over time? I guess you go for damage over time here, right? And then like Mystic Circle potency. There's Touch of Death Swarm duration. Now I wonder if that Touch of Death Swarm duration also extends the total time that they're infected, but I don't think so. No, it actually says when a swarm hatches and seeks enemies for 12.9 seconds, dealing 23 damage per hit. Okay, so this would increase the explosion damage though from the Insatiable, and that is actually quite a lot. I'm not sure if this is good. But I also don't see too much else that I would like here. Maybe I throw in like a stun. Good pause what I did if I touch the death belt. We just saw another one as well. I mean, you can post that if you want. You can compare. Let's do like Topaz, Amethyst. So I think this class has fire and poison rest on the Paragons. So let's do cold. 4 to Mirage. And then we dodge again first and crit chance for 3 seconds. I mean, that would actually cap me. Funny enough. But we can go all in on the attack speed here. Casting ultimate skill makes you unstoppable for 2 seconds. I would kind of like to take this. And we still have to fill our last slot here. What do we do? Ravager, actually. We need Ravager, as realized. Ravager is kind of important for Noxious Resonance procs. I think it can proc it. This thing also gives us Ferocity. Which I guess doesn't matter much. While Mirage is active, your core skills instantly dash to a target and all vigor generation is increased by 30%. Maybe I'll take this, actually. Maybe healer poison damage increased. %16 increased damage to crowd controlled. Yeah, I mean, we're not really necessarily crowd controlling. We can do this. So Ravager lasts 6 seconds with 75% cooldown reduction. We have it nearly permanent. Actually, we do have permanent because of this. That's nice. So I should have very consistently proc Noxious Resonance, even if we don't have 100% crit chance because of this. And do we want Rock Splitter on the bar, and for what? I don't think so, actually. We can do Concussive, Scourge. This gives us 50% extra damage to crowd controls. We don't have Resilient, actually. I want those points there. We can activate this easily with Armored Hide from the cooldown we get from the boots. So this is permanent. Okay, I think we kind of got there now where I want to be. We don't really go for a lot of blocking. We do have big barriers though and big healing. So we have Gorilla, barriers. We have ridiculous healing. So should be fine. So limit of the number of mystic circles you can have. I'm not sure actually. Maybe there's like a limit and they despawn at some point. Because it's like a hit effect, right? So if you like pump into a pack, then it was like spawn like 20 circles. I don't know. Maybe there's only one that you can have. But either way, we have two separate like hit effects of proccing it. Should be relatively easy to get it, depending on how this re-infect works. And like for example, does the Touch of Death Swarm have like a hit chance? Maybe. So stuff like that. Good night, Pattern. Okay, let's see what Dante has here. Loyalty, Centipede, Centipede. Interesting. Pestilence Swarm damage. Insatiable on the two-handed. You have Infestation here. Which does 8 hammer poison damage per hit. Okay, so you're going for Pestilence Swarm stuff. And Craze of the Dead God. I mean, this is a very nice defensive item. I really like this item. Dealing direct damage has up to a 10% chance to infect an enemy with Touch of Death and clear the poisoning from you. I mean, if this works like, let's say, multiple chances per attack because of Ravager, I think Ravager hits 3 or 4 times every time you do a Touch of Death. So, I don't know, let's say you have a 50% chance every time you attack, you get a Touch of Death extra. It could be actually relatively strong. Could be better than a normal glove. Temerity, huh? Temerity is like easy to keep up. But so is Gorilla Barrier, I think. Touch of Death, Swarm Duration. It's kind of funny how different this build looks. Even though we're trying to do the same thing. Look at the skill bar as well. It's like completely different. Yeah, I feel like you're lacking some skill ranks though. I mean, rank 5 Touch of Death, if that's your main damage. And then you have also the Pestilence Swarm stuff. I'm not sure if I would go for both. I'd rather go for one or the other. I mean, yeah, you have Centipede skills, have a chance to spawn Pestilence Swarms, but I don't think this is really a good Lucky Hit skill. This is based on Lucky Hit. And maybe get a lot of them from Ravager. Maybe Ravager has like insane Lucky Hit. I'm not sure how that works. And you have the Centipede boots. Okay. Interesting. So you get a cooldown there. And resource inside of the boots. Alright. I kind of like this combo here more, I think. Spiritborn is so cracked, it's gonna take 10 seasons to do all the needed nerfs. Yeah, I think so. The point of the build is to do exactly that. Like you build up poison, like this thing has a lot of poison, but it's like single target poison, so it's not that crazy. But if you kind of like pump into one guy on the pack, let's say in the elite, then you'll build up the poison, and then as soon as you get a crit, which is basically all the time, kaboom, you know? So that's the idea, yeah. And I guess the Touch of Death Swarms will actually help me triggering it, right? Okay, now I just realized actually we do have AoE from Noxious Resonance. Because the Touch of Death Storms also attack. We have 3 of them, and they just kind of keep hitting shit, right? And then we'll just like also crit. And it will also trigger the stuff. So it will like not necessarily hit exactly the target that I'm infecting, but some of them will do. Okay, I think this should actually work out pretty well when I think about it, with Noxious Resonance. I wonder if Stardust Skies is good enough for this build. But it's pretty good, to be fair, so... I'm gonna get more crit chance. Can I get more crit chance? So let's do a Colossal. Let's do a Convergence. We can do Shield, since we have barriers. Actually, will I have enough barriers? This goes up to 30%. And then this is another 40 maybe. But not really. Can do Infighter. This lasts 5 seconds, okay. So I have to do like 3 touch of deaths in a row, basically. It'll be very interesting to make a bitter medicine build, man. I want to try that. I think it's Lightning Rust, actually. So yeah, Convergence. I don't really like doing the shield thing. There's the Ava moving. Barrier generation is not terrible. Eagle damage, dude. It's a kind of shitty board, I gotta say. Infighter's okay. So chance to knock down vulnerable enemies. City increase damage to crowd control enemies. I just realized I'm not making anything vulnerable, do I? Ooh. Okay, so something like that, I guess. And then consumption is Pestilence Swarm stuff. I mean, this is a strong reason to use Pestilence Swarms. Because of the glyph. 2% damage per swarm and touch of death swarm. But I think it's mostly a stinger thing. I put this in my stinger build, where I actually really focus on Pestilence Swarms. I don't think this is very good enough here. Dude, also realize this thing has the increased damage to distant enemies. Holy yikes. Okay, this has 49 int. This also has like strength 4 int. Skills are critical strike, generate 3 vigor. And crit damage, which doesn't really apply to the poison, so I don't think I want to do this. What's my biggest dex board here? This one has a lot of decks, actually. Actually, that's an int board. 35 int. I actually have to put a ritual here. Ring of Centipede Eagle looks pretty good. Wait, which one is that? I think these are like old placeholder names, the Centipede Eagle stuff. They all have been renamed, so which one is that? They have like real names now. Mainly the few was monkish, been a few years since I played it. Actually, they're launching a PTR in 3 days to test Mac compatibility or something on D3, yeah? Kind of funny. Okay, what else we got? Damage while healthy in Wyvern. It doesn't say the requirement for this glyph. It doesn't have a stat to stack it. Cool. A bit scuffed. We could do this one here. What is 16% as incarnate? Wait, incarnate skills damage. Do we have 2 incarnate glyphs on this class? I think so. Yikes. Turf, Spirit. I guess I want to do a Headhunter glyph. I should probably go here, actually. A lot of decks there. I would also like to get some strength and in to get a res and crit. So here's a lot more strength. Less int, less dex. Okay. You could do turf if you have to. You could also do hone. The damage by Jaguar can increase a crit chance by 10%. So this is actually... And then increase my crit damage, which doesn't help me though. But I like the crit chance. There's also this here, increased poison damage. Poisoning effects have 50 chance to double the amount. I mean, this is okay, actually, I think. So this will probably be what we're gonna do here. I'm back, Brendan. Actually, only 4 away from this side here. Let's go out there. I got a raid from Garrett again. Hello, guys. Thank you for the raid. Woohoo. How's it going? I'm about to finish here though. I'm not gonna stay much tonight. I don't actually have much time. But I appreciate the raid, man. Hi, guys. Okay, the Pestilent Swarm Ring. Okay, I've put it in my other build. What is that? This one, the Writhing Moon. It has chance to make vulnerable, unrestrained, crit, movement. It has really nice stats. I like the stats on this. But for this you have to go for like Pestilent Swarm stuff, and I don't really want to do this. On this build at least. I feel like Pestilent Swarm stuff is more stinger. I mean, maybe you can do something like the Withering Fist, Sepan Zontek, Pestilent Swarm stuff. That could be funny as well. Maybe some boss runs, okay. Think D4 will add cards while moving? I don't think so. I mean, you know, all the classes are already made, all the skills are already made, and so on. And then I don't think they want to force people into WSD like GG does. Which is something that might not really work out well, I think, for some people. This is the another glyph, okay. %8 dodge chance on this thing. That's a lot of fucking dodge, man. Okay. Weird pathing. It's kind of funny how all these exits only have 4 points. This one is 4 points. This one is 4 points. This one is 4. This one is 4. This one is 4. Interesting. I'm still missing some notes. There's lightning rest on this board. And we do need some rest. So how's my crit chance looking now? 80%. Okay. Almost there. I think this is like too unnecessary here. Let's take this out. Exactly 80%. And we have actually, my rest is also looking not bad. So fire rest a bit low. Lightning rest way too high. Cold. Poison is a bit undercapped. Okay, we almost have it. I wonder if I can kind of fix this by, instead of, for example, all res, doing something else. This is all res, this is all res. What if I go like triple all res? What if you do like diamond? Like a bunch of these things are overcapped as hell. Let's do this. Oh, wait. Okay. Can we just do like all three? Yeah. It actually worked out. The fire rest is being too high now. Like all these resistances being too high, I suppose. So something like that, for example. But we have GA rest there. Oof. And no rest here. We have like no armor. So I think one way to do this is like armor roll. Ah. I think it's gonna be quite common, man. It's just putting like an armor roll on the neck on Spiritborn. I feel like else it's just not gonna hit the armor cap because you always have like one of the unique helmets. There's no armor on those. You often have something like Shroud or like one of the other unique chests, the Jackin's chest that has no armor. So you only have like the pants usually to get armor. It's rough out there. What seems like the best Spiritborn build? Dude, I have no idea. I've been working on this class for a while and I have no idea. I mean, probably something with next Oxus Resonance. I guess Stinger is probably like my favorite. I think Stinger is probably what will be the most broken at the launch, outside of like bugs. So I already made that build. And this is what I'm planning to push to the higher torments as fast as possible with on launch. Because Noxious Resonance is like way too cracked. We snapshot, then so nice a hold as by spam click. If thinking concealment, third node. Might be worth to hold early. I mean, in general, you're gonna hold. I'm 99% certain they're gonna fix the spamming anyway. Yeah, momentum, then so nice, and Shadow Imbue pops everything during leveling. Yeah, and early on this is kind of nice, but Shadow Imbue falls off really hard later, and then I guess you can like transition to the victimized build, and then you have that. Another resonance build. Okay, what do we got here? Soul, Turbulence, Fists. Fists of Fate is kind of interesting. And there's a chem. So far I haven't really found the need to put Fists of Fate. You have so many strong aspects. And you don't really care about CCing too much either. Okay, you're going Creeping Death, that's why, I guess. Okay. So there's like also a Touch of Death build or what? Harmony. Okay, so you're doing something similar, I guess. Warcry. Plus 3 to all skills. Plus 3 to all skills is also kind of nice rune for Spiritborn. Gorilla Jaguar, you have the same thing. This looks kind of familiar. So I was doing the core skill spam, okay. But no ult. You don't have eagle skills. Or do you have that? You have Jaguar, Gorilla, Centipede. There's no eagle tag. You have like an eagle passive. I guess you have, okay, this, okay. Eagle skill damage increased by, I mean, why do you have this? You're not doing damage to this stuff, do you? Ah, we can see the old values here, right? It's not updated. 100%. There's also 7 seconds vulnerable, that's now 4. And we can actually see the pre-nerf stuff. This one is updated though. 50% dodge, that used to be 100. But maybe there was another patch in between. Yeah, I don't really see the point of toxic skin here at all. Okay, Okay, it depends on how you interpret it, I guess. The poisoning deals additional 25% of its damage over time as critical. So I figured this would be only for the toxic skin itself, but I guess you think that it also works for everything, right? I mean, if it does, that would be kind of wild. In fact, does this then trigger Noxious Resonance by itself? That'd be completely cracked. Like, you're gonna get so many fucking explosions, if that's the case. And we'll see. I think at the very least, we should probably pick up the Ravager stuff here, though. This is kind of nice. Especially since you're going for the cooldown boots anyway. You can have Perma Ravager, and you should definitely pick those 2 points, minimum. Yeah, this is kind of interesting with the toxic skins. I guess we have to see what this means exactly. But yeah, if this can trigger Noxious Resonance, that is really good already. What do I have here? I have the Hunter. And the Hunter's also kind of nutty. We could get away without Rock Splitter. I don't think I need Rock Splitter on my bar. I think we'll have so much resources that we can just go for the Toxic Scan. Yeah, this is gonna be a pretty nice build. Like, everything Noxious Resonance is gonna be pretty good, I think. So... But yeah, this is interesting to think about, yeah. Your poisoning deals an additional 25% of its damage over time. Critical strikes to vulnerable enemies. I kind of feel like this would only work for Toxic Scan, but if that works for everything... I mean, the Thorns thing works for everything. Yeah, maybe. I have to get like 3 points somewhere. I'll put it in there and then we'll see what happens when we test it. We definitely don't need the healing, as realized. So something like this may be done. Oh man. How many builds do we have at this point? Getting there. Slowly. There's 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 7. And I feel like for like every core skill I have to make like at least 2 different variants, because there could be like a Thorns version of this, or there can be like this Noxious Resonance thing of this Stinger, or there can be like a Pestilent Swarm and a not Pestilent Swarm version of this. I guess realistically, you know, after like a season or 2, this will all kind of like consolidate a little bit. Okay, this is the way to play Stinger the best, this is the way to play Rake the best, and so on, right? But right now this is like so hard to predict, man, because so many things are just look so crazy, and we don't really know how it's gonna feel, right? Like, for example, it also depends, like, do they make the pit infinite again or not? Yeah. I haven't done combined strikes yet, actually. I still have to do that. I wonder what this would look like. You can do it with Kepeleke and with Stefan Sonntag. Or just none of them at all. Combined strike is pretty powerful. They might want to put it on a 2-handed. It's 30%, right? Per basic. I guess technically, you could have 6 different basic skills, right? With Kepeleke. So they can get a 240% buff. Or they can get 45% times 6, which is also 240. That's a lot of damage. It lasts 10 seconds. So you know, walk up to the enemy, press like 1, 2, 3, and then spam right click or something. Which is kind of funny. Yeah, we'll have to see. The Mystic Circle gimmick. Yeah. I wonder if like the game comes out and everyone who made like these Mystic Circle planners just gonna like see spares because it's like nerfed to like 2% potency instead of 40 per node. Even that will probably make it kind of good. So I guess it is what it is. I mean, there's definitely like plan B and plan C and plan D, you know, if they nerf Mystic Circles, so it's fine. Anyway, I will have to go, guys. We're gonna continue this another time. So I hope you enjoyed it. I'm gonna write Barricade today. Let's go. He's doing some event right now. Some community event that unfortunately I didn't have time to really check out. But that's it. Have a good one, guys.